Now for another worry for anyone who will be spending time outdoors this summer, ticks. University of Maine researchers are getting a better idea of where deer ticks are and what diseases they transmit.
Earlier this week, they released the latest data from the ticks collected by landowners in 9 counties, and it showed that a quarter of those ticks tested positive for Lyme disease, about double when compared to 2020. The data is also expected to help pinpoint why and where tick populations are thriving. News Center Maine's Vivian Lee shows us more from Elliott.
Jill Farrelly and her family love to hike the woods on this historic farmland, which covers 1,000 acres. But she worries about loved ones, especially her young granddaughter getting Lyme disease and other co-infections from black-legged or deer ticks.
I want to make sure that we know what's out here, so if she does get bit, at least we know what to look for.
Farrelly spent the past 2 summers dragging for ticks on her land. After receiving training, drag cloths, and tweezers, she collected nymph ticks that are very tiny and can be hard to spot on the body in this area of the woods. In 2020, she found 45. The following year, only 5.
I mean, I dragged and I dragged. I spent extra dragging time.
As part of the 2021 University of Maine Tick Forest Survey, 300 property owners spread across 9 southern and coastal Maine counties. The so-called citizen scientists collected 2,800 deer ticks, up from 1,600 in 2020. 25% of them carried the pathogens that cause Lyme disease. The highest rates of ticks carrying Lyme: Cumberland, Lincoln, and Knox counties.
Even though we collected a lot more ticks this past summer, the pathogen rates were about the same as what we saw in 2020.
Alyssa Ballman is a citizen science coordinator for the University of Maine Forest Tick Survey. She says wet, cooler temperatures last summer played a role in the higher number of ticks. Like in 2020, the 2021 survey found that there were significantly fewer black-legged ticks on timberland harvested in the past 20 years. But that wasn't the case for properties with invasive plants, which can take over the forest floor and create favorable habitats for ticks.
So properties that had the honeysuckle or barberry had significantly more black-legged ticks than those without.
And dragging as slow as possible.
As for Farrelly, she isn't sure why she found less ticks in an area of Maine considered a hot spot for tick activity. But knowing what ticks are questing on her land is going to help keep her family safe.
So that way you know what potential diseases are in your area.
Now, researchers are looking for ways to expand this project to all of Maine's 16 counties, but there are no plans right now to do the landowner survey next summer. The data, meanwhile, will be compiled into a number of scientific reports that will be released sometime in the future. In Elliott, Vivian Lee, News Center, Maine.